Okay, I want to talk about the port error in XAMPP. XAMPP uses port 80, but other programs like SQL Server and VMware also use port 80. So it's very common to get a port conflict with XAMPP, which will keep you from being able to use it properly. So I just want to show you how to fix it real quick. So I'm not getting the port error here, but typically what you will see when you start up XAMPP, or when you try to start, let's say Apache, you'll get some red text in here that says something about port conflict or port 80 already in use. So if you get that red text about a port error, this is how you fix it. So in XAMPP control panel here, click this config button. You have to change two things, right? So first you click this config button and choose the top one. You're going to go find where that port 80 is. You could do an edit find if you want. It's not too far down though, so I'm just going to scroll down. Here it is. So this is the number you need to change to something else. Don't worry about this line because it's commented out. So for instance, you could change it to 8080 or 1111, something unusual and something other than 80. Alright? Once you do that, go ahead and save your file. I'm not going to do it because I don't have a port conflict. So make sure you save it, close it up. But you have to change it somewhere else as well. So we've changed it to, let's say, port 1111. After that, you still need to go up here to this config, not the one by Apache, but the one up here. So I'm going to click this. In this little dialog, you're going to look for this port settings button down here. So even if you've changed it, let's say to 1111, it's still going to say 80 here. So you also need to change it here. And make sure you hit save on this, which again I'm not going to do because I'm not changing my port, but you would hit save here and then hit save here as well. That's not quite it though. This is one thing that people sometimes skip. So after you make those changes, you basically need to shut the XAMPP control panel down and restart it. And if you're not familiar with XAMPP, don't hit the X because I think that's just going to send it down to the system tray. So after you've made those two port changes, make sure you hit quit here on your XAMPP control panel to close out of it. And then what you would do is just restart the control panel, restart your XAMPP, and hopefully those red errors will go away. Or when you start up Apache, hopefully those red errors won't show up. I want to show you a couple more things you need to know about this though. If that doesn't clear up your port conflicts, you might have to change one more config file. Basically, we change the http.conf file, right? So if what I just showed you didn't clear up all your errors, you might have to change one more port. So the process is the same, but I'm going to show you how to do it here. Click this config here and choose the second one. And this time we're not looking for 80, I think we're looking for, yeah, this 1443. So you may have to change that port as well. Sometimes you don't have to, but sometimes you do. So once again, maybe just try to choose something unusual like 4444 or something like that. Hit save your file, or when you close it, just make sure you hit save. Once again, second step, go to this config button up here. Click your port settings, and notice here's where that 1443 is. So let's say you change it to 4444, type that in here, make sure you save this, and make sure you hit save here. And then once again, what you'll have to do is quit the XAMPP control panel and then restart it. And that, after changing those two things, you should eliminate those port errors, which are pretty common. But there's one more thing to watch out for once you change your default port. So I'm going to start up Apache here. So if you had to change your port and you want to use Apache to do PHP or what have you, there's one more thing to look out for. So I've got Apache running here, and I'm going to try to load up a page that's running in my Apache, on my Apache server, so to speak. So to do that, typically it's going to be localhost / the name of whatever your page is. It could be some .html page or some .php page. So I put that in my address, and it loaded up my page, or basically served it up from the local host. But if you change your port, you're probably going to get an error at this point. So the only thing you have to do is put the actual port number in here as well, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm doing it in here just so it's a little easier to read. So directly after localhost in your URL, you need to put colon and then the port number. So let's say we did 1111 earlier when we changed it in our config file. Every time you use Apache from this point forward with that alternate port, this is what you'll have to type in your URL. Localhost colon port number, and then of course, you know, / whatever the name of the file is that you're trying to work with. So you'll have to just type that in here, hit enter, and then it should take you out to the local host by looking for the right port, because by default it looks for 80, so now it'll be looking in the right spot.